Welcome to Coach's Corner Live.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this special edition of Coach's Corner Live. I'm Katina Rankin here in Tupelo to talk all things safe about women and children. And joining me now to explain SAFE is the Executive Director, Dr. Zoe Shanks. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Shanks.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start from the very beginning.
Okay.
With you just telling people exactly what is SAFE? What does SAFE stand for?
Shelter and Assistance for Family Emergencies.
So what exactly do you do here?
SAFE is a domestic violence sexual assault shelter where we house women and children and men, because sometimes men are affected by domestic violence as well. And so we have a 19-bed facility here. But not only do we do domestic violence and sexual assault, we also have a housing program, because when people are running from domestic violence, they come with just what they have on their backs. And so we also have a housing program where we help them become stable.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Okay.
We all know domestic violence means physical violence,
Yes.
as well as it can be verbal violence.
Mm-hmm.
So if a man or a woman is being beat up by his or her spouse or partner, those are the people that you bring in.
Yes, but majority of the time, people don't understand that not only is it physical, emotional, mental, but it's also financial abuse. Sometimes, as we know, the aggressor has the pocketbook, meaning that they're holding the money. And so some of our clients come in too because of that situation. They can't leave because of finances. And so when that's the case, they come here as well.
Give me an example of a bad case that you know about and tell me why SAFE was important in that moment.
Oh, wow. We've had an elderly abuse case where one of the ladies that came was being beaten by her daughter. Could you imagine having your child, beat up on you or whatever? We had a case like that. She was an emergency case, meaning that when we walked in, she was already sitting outside on our porch looking for assistance. And I think that's one of the worst situations that I've been a part of since I've been to ED. I wasn't really aware that children beat their parents, but they do.
Why is this work important?
Oh man. It's important because one thing that I realized being the ED since I've been here, women and children, no matter what they have gone through, fear is real. Like having that fear over your head that I don't know if I'm gonna be beaten when he get home, or I don't know what's gonna happen if me and my children gonna have enough food to eat because he's holding the purse strap, right? Those things are important because who's gonna be the voice for the voiceless? If we're not here to make sure that the women and children and sometimes men have a voice, then what are we here to do? I believe that we all have purpose and we all have been able to answer a call. This is just a call that we've answered to be the voice for the voiceless, to step in when women and children and sometimes men are fleeing situations where they don't know or don't have hope to figure out what their next is going to be. So it's important that we make sure that we can get them to a safe place and that we can make sure that once they're here, that we get all the needs met, like counseling, case management, if they need job readiness skills. Because sometimes if you've been a single mom or if you've been a stay-at-home mom, rather, at home, you don't have a lot of skills sometimes, but we're able to help them get the things that they need so that they can have the courage to walk away. And so it's important that we continue the work that we do.
So I've come in, I've called, I've gone to the sheriff's department. They brought me here.
Yes.
I'm in. What's the next step?
The next step is, of course, everybody have to fill out the paperwork. We have to go through the paperwork to make sure your files and stuff are together. But then you go to your room. Like we have, again, the 19-bed facilities. So we allow women to go to their room. We give them a couple of days to get their thoughts together. Because if you're fleeing domestic violence, think about how long it took you to make a decision to go. Some of these women have been in these situations over 25 years. And the fact that they made that decision, they don't need us sitting talking to them 24 hours, 48 hours after that. They need time to gather their thoughts. So we give them the opportunity to do that. But within those 48 hours, up to 72 hours, we have a counselor that's ready to be able to go through the process to make sure their mind is clear so that we can start a process of transition to the next.
Tell me your greatest need to continue to protect women, children, and sometimes men.
So our greatest need right now is capital.
Mhm.
We need working capital because a lot of times
Money.
money.
Mhm.
Yes. Because a lot of times people don't understand that we get grants in through Department of Health, Mississippi Department of Health, and also Mississippi Home Corps. But those grants are match grants, meaning that we have to pay the money first and get the money reimbursed. And so we need money to continue to do the services that we are called to do while we're waiting on those reimbursements.
I'm not sure if you're going to be able to answer this for me, but in order to serve this community, how much does it take, let's say, per month with the housing, with the food and everything else, the counseling to run a facility like this?
$137,000
A month.
a month.
Wow.
Yes.
How long has S.A.F.E been in existence here in Tupelo?
45 years. We've been doing this work for 45 years. It's mind-blowing to me at 45 years old to know that this agency has been in existence as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
That means we've been serving women and children forever to me because I'm 45 years old. But the thing about it is they didn't start off with the name S.A.F.E. They started off with Aid for Battered Women. But because somebody said they didn't have any battered women, they said, okay, well, let's change the name. Because if all people are going to think about is battered women or that's a negative connotation, well, let's change it to safe. Let's change it to something that somebody will want to talk about now. Because when you begin to talk about battered women and children, nobody really want to talk about that.
Right. Why is it important to be able to have that safe place to be able to talk about it? Because, most women are ashamed that's been through domestic violence. They don't want to talk about it, period. They don't want people to know my spouse, my boyfriend is beating on me. And they try to hide it with makeup. And if they hit below, people can't see it. They cover it with clothing. Why is it important to be able to verbalize what's happening to you?
Because people are suffering in silence. If you don't learn to verbalize it, or even if people like us don't verbalize it loud enough to say this is happening in our community, it's happening in your churches, come on, it's happening in wherever there's people, it's happening. If we don't learn to have the hard conversations, because that's really the issue, we don't want to have the hard conversations, but the hard conversations is needed to be had so that the people can get the help that they need.
Yes.
We have to talk. We have to be the voice for those that are not able to speak up for themselves. Because listen, in the world that we live in, suicide rate is high. And people are literally suffering in a place that they feel like, well, if I can't get it out, if I can't talk about it, I might as well not be here anymore. But that's a lie. And it's time for us to put the voice out to say domestic violence is happening every day. 1 out of 7 women are being being abused. And if we don't see that, then it's time now for us to start opening our mouth and talk about it. In order to do the type of work that we do, to continue to have a 19-bed facility for these women and children, we need treasure, meaning we need money to continue to do the work that we are called to do. I need you to open up your eyes and see and look around. It could be your neighbor. It could be a woman that's at church sitting beside you. It can be a woman in a grocery store, or it could be you. We're asking you today to think about partnering with S.A.F.E and to give your treasure so that we can continue to do the work that we do. It's important, Katina, that we are here for another 45 years or longer really, to do the work that we've been called to do.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with me.
Thank you.
I'm blessed to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to actually talk to a survivor who went through S.A.F.E. Stay with us for that.
Olivia looks for ways to help her community after being inspired by one of the greatest women of her time. Take a journey with Olivia and her cousins as they explore the life of one of the Divine Nine, Dr. Brenda Baskin Glover, in Katina Rankin's new book, Born to Lead, available August 8th on Amazon.com. And while you're there, don't forget to check out the other books in the Katina's Classroom collection, available now. Welcome back to this special edition of S.A.F.E. And joining me now is a survivor of domestic violence, Shantella Hamilton. Shantella, thank you so much for joining me.
Yes.
Can you tell me your story and what led you to S.A.F.E?
I am a multiple time survivor of domestic violence, 3 marriages and several relationships. And the last one that I had, I was in Kentucky in Bowling Green. He had stabbed me, he had broken nose, he had beat me really bad. And I was in a shelter there and I wanted to get away. So they had moved me here to Tupelo, and I came into S.A.F E. They helped me get up on my feet. They have been a blessing to me in more ways than I could ever say. I got my first place by myself without a man. I'm getting my kids back, and much more. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I know it's difficult to talk about the abuse that you went through, but can you tell me how it sort of started and everything that you went through?
It started from childhood, and then it escalated into me picking out people that were actually no good for me. So,
So when you say childhood, there was abuse in your childhood?
yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that.
I was abused by my mother. I was abused by uncles, brother, sexually and physically, in more ways than one.
So you thought it was normal. Is that why you chose the men, or did you know it wasn't right?
I didn't know, and I did know. I just started losing touch with myself and God,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because, those things are kind of devastating and they take away who you are inside until you learn to heal.
So with each marriage, because you said that you have been married 3 times,
Yes, ma'am.
tell me what happened in the first.
It started with verbal abuse, and then it escalated to physical. It got to the point to where I made the news in Louisville, Kentucky, from my second husband. He had beat me in the back of a car, and when the construction workers had heard me screaming, they came out and helped me get out. He had went home, came back to the building that they had took me into, where they had got me help, and he went, got a gun, and came back to try to get me. So
Oh my Lord. What does that feel like?
horrible, scary. It's something I hope I never have to experience again.
Mm-hmm. And then with the third marriage.
Oh, um, we had a child. She was several months old, and he had been drinking again. He had picked me up off the bed and had started slinging me around the room for what reason I don't know. It just came out of nowhere. He had just beat me real bad. You couldn't see what I looked like. He, I was on the phone with my family and they heard what was going on, so they hung up. They were in Maryland. They called the law, and the law came. He had hid. It took them about 6 hours to find him. When they found him, he had escaped out of a cop car because he knew he was in a lot of trouble. Like I said, he had beat me really bad. Um, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take your time. Thank you for sharing.
I got out. I went home with my family, and I've not gone back since. But then I picked up another relationship, and it escalated to abuse again. And I'm just now starting to heal from the things that I've been through, and I'm by myself, and I really like it. It is a very peaceful place to be with God after surviving that much abuse from different and multiple people.
Mm-hmm. How did you actually find out about S.A.F.E?
I was in a place in Bowling Green. They're all kind of linked together, but they had got me here to them because I had family and kids here. So I didn't want to be there anymore because I was scared of my abuser, that he was going to find me again. And he was on drugs and things. So I knew that if I stayed around, it was going to escalate to me being back there with him. And I didn't want that. So I came here and started over. And this place has been a God given blessing for me and my kids.
What did they do for you?
They helped me get a place to live on my own with no man, no abuser. They have helped me with my kids, my finances. They helped me to get into the place that I'm in, which is beautiful. They have just done some really big things to help me change in my life so that I could become better.
But for the people who say, well, why do you stay in the relationships that long? What do you tell them?
Um, You don't know no better, and you are so mentally exhausted that you don't really see that there is a light at the end of that tunnel. And it is so hard to break from habits, of allowing those types of things to take place. It's hard to break from those things and to move on. And it takes places like this to help you to learn how to do that by yourself. And once you get there, it's a blessing.
So, for a woman who may be watching that says, I'm afraid, I'm scared,
Don't be afraid. Step out, get the help. That's what they're there for. And it is a little hard sometimes because your mindset wants to go back to the abuse because you were accustomed to that. But don't back down. Stand up and stand firm and keep moving and keep praying. And on the hard days, just remember where you were and where you are and keep moving forward.
anything that I haven't asked you that you want to share with me that you think is important?
Your voice matters.
Mhm.
And the things that people do, it matters. It matters to speak up. It matters to you matter to the world, whether you feel like it or not. And that's what abusers want you to feel. They want you to feel like you're not nothing, that you don't matter, and that no one can hear you, but they can. All
Mhm.
you got to do is speak up, speak out, and someone will help you. Don't be afraid. Never back down.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your story with me and with other women. And I pray God's blessings upon you
Yes, ma'am.
and that you will continue to heal and that He will take you to heights that you never even thought were imaginable.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. When we come back, we're going to talk to a child and look at being at S.A.F.E through her eyes. Stay with us.
Katina's Classroom's mission is to significantly improve the reading skills and educational opportunities of pre-K to middle school children in underserved communities. The nonprofit's goal is to bring awareness, help, hope, and healing to those often overlooked due to economic insecurities. By developing action plans with schools and creating techniques for getting a child engaged in reading beyond the classroom, plus tackling food insecurity, which is directly tied to a child's learning, we focus on nourishment for the mind, body, and soul.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined now with Rebecca and Shelby Reed. Thank you both so much for being with us. I can't wait to hear your story. I know that you've been with S.A.F.E for 2 years, but tell me how you sort of got to that point.
I grew up in a home with domestic violence. My parents were great people who had their own issues, and it really affected me. I felt like I always had to be there to take care of my mom, and my self confidence was extremely bruised and battered in the process. As an adult, my first relationship was one of domestic violence, and I continued that pattern with men after that in relationships. Um, and so it was a long road to healing, but I did find healing. And I've gained a lot of self confidence in working for S.A.F.E. I love getting to help other people, hearing their stories and telling them my stories also.
Tell me about your healing process because it is a long road. It is hard.
It is. It is a long road. And one thing that I want people to know is that S.A.F.E is not a scary place. There was a time when my daughter and I had to go from northern Arizona to southern Arizona when a situation occurred, and I was too scared to go into shelter. I was scared for what that experience would be like, not only for me, but for my daughter also. So we went and we stayed with a family friend, but had I not had that family friend there, I don't know what would have happened to us. Um, and so after that experience, I didn't think about helping other women until I got the job at S.A.F.E. And today, I get to do that. But I think the main thing that I want people to know is that we're here to help. We're here to help them heal. And my journey to healing has been long, and I took a lot of turns and twists. But today, I have great relationships with my family. My daughter, she's here supporting me now, and I'm just so thankful that um, through therapy, I've gone to therapy for years, and but I think that I would have gotten to that place earlier or sooner had I gone to a domestic violence organization and gotten help, and not been so scared.
Mhm.
I think that I had seen DV shelters on television, and it didn't look like the nicest, most welcoming environment. So I think that it's important to know that we're here to help.
Yes. Right, Shelby, you've been through this process with your mother, but as a child, how was it?
I don't know how to say it,
Uh-huh.
but like I really don't remember much because I just remembered you doing the best that you could, to make sure that I had a good childhood and to take care of me and to protect me.
What does protect you look like when you say that?
No matter what was going on, just being happy and being strong.
What's the bad that you remember?
Maybe instability.
How old was Shelby?
She at that time she was a baby. She was about one,
Okay.
1.5 at that time. So she wouldn't remember that part.
I think a lot of the times I was just happy to be with my mom.
Could you tell that something was wrong or you thought everything was normal?
I could tell something was wrong just because of what was left unsaid. Even then, you could tell, there's something wrong, there's something going on. So, like, at times I probably did try to think, how can I help my mom? But, I was just a child. So,
Do you remember how old you were when you started having those thoughts?
11,
10.
10, 11-ish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there one special moment that sticks out with you and your mother bonding during that time?
We've had lots of good memories.
I guess I did try to protect her from seeing the abuse and the control. And so we would go into her bedroom and lay in the bed and play games.
That's what I was thinking. Like, mostly just like
And we would,
cuddling with you and watching movies, and that's what I experienced, even though there was a lot more going on than I realized. But you protected me from that,
right.
Yeah.
So good to know that Shelby's a nurse now and she loves to help other people. And I feel like if I can take anything from my life and what I've experienced and not healed from sooner, was that she is so open to people of all types, and she helps anybody and she loves all people, and we both go for the underdog,
I do too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I do too.
I love that. And I think that we wouldn't be like that had I not experienced these things. And so that's a good thing.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to become a nurse, is because I saw people in my life. I saw my mom struggling and having a hard time. And I always thought as a child, like, I wish there was some way that I could help. But there's no way that I can help. What could I do? And then one day realizing I don't have to just sit back and watch this happen to other people. I can help. There is something that I can do, and I can help other people.
I love it.
So I think through the experience, we've both been able to find our own paths and how we can help other people and be there for other people and be their advocate.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You all are both beautiful.
Thank you.
You are gorgeous.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you, but not only on the outside, but on the inside, for being able to share your story and to come back and to work to help other women, and then you choosing the path of being a nurse to help people because of it.
It's a blessing.
I was just about to say that. I think it's a total blessing.
It is.
It is. It's an honor for sure to be able to just be a beacon of hope and light for people that are having hard times, not only domestic violence, but I think that people who are struggling in general. I just want people to know that nothing lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's something great on the other side of that.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for blessing me,
Thank you.
for joining me. It was nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you. We'll be right back with the court administrator, or court advocate, I could say, for S.A.F.E. Stay with us.
Tina's Classroom's mission is to significantly improve the reading skills and educational opportunities of pre-K to middle school children in underserved communities. The nonprofit's goal is to bring awareness, help, hope, and healing to those often overlooked due to economic insecurities. By developing action plans with schools and creating techniques for getting a child engaged in reading beyond the classroom, plus tackling food insecurity, which is directly tied to a child's learning, we focus on nourishment for the mind, body, and soul.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner Live, this special edition where we are in Tupelo, Mississippi, and talking to people with S.A.F.E. And joining us now is Erica Hodges, who is a court advocate for S.A.F.E. Thank you so much for joining me, Erica.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me why you were called. What specifically did God speak to you to tell you that I should be here at S.A.F.E?
Because I knew it was more in me than what I was doing. I was working in the medical field, and I did not have the opportunity to really touch people the way I have been able to touch people here. Here is it's more of a one-on-one thing where I can talk to people and just guide them in a way that they needed to go. And I know it, and I'm more of a one-on-one type person where even if I see something and I'm in a group, I won't say it out loudly in public, but I may call that person to the side and just have a one-on-one. And this was an opportunity for me to use that gift, to use that opportunity to talk to someone, to help someone, to assist someone, to guide them in a way that they need to go. And just have a one-on-one with them, that they feel like they can talk to me, that they feel like they have somebody that they can trust. Because so many times people come into the shelter and they don't have anybody they can trust. They feel like there's no one that they can trust.
Yes.
But I want them to know there is someone that you can trust.
Give me your final thoughts about S.A.F.E. and why it's important for people to donate and to help these women and children and sometimes men.
Yes, I think it's very important for people to donate to S.A.F.E. because sometimes when you're on the outside looking in, you don't really know what all it takes to run an organization. We shelter these families, which we have to. Utilities have to be paid. Food has to be purchased. Transportation has to be done. These clients have to go back and forth to doctor's appointments and other things that may be available to them. I deal with a lot of the clients from a legal aspect where they have to go back and forth to court, where they have to go file or press charges. Transportation, gas is needed for transportation. So there's a lot of things that come into play when running an organization, things that we have to have, the overhead that is needed for this organization to run. So I want people to realize that we are here doing the work of the Lord, but it takes everybody to make it happen. It's not just for those of us who's working at S.A.F.E. It's for everybody. And I think for anybody out there who has a heart to help people, that it shouldn't be a problem for them to not just click a button to donate, but come work, volunteer, and just be a part of what we're trying to do. Because we believe that S.A.F.E. has come a long way since 1978. And we're looking forward to the future, to where we're going to go. We're looking for God to work in the overflow, to do things that's never been done here before. We're believing in Him.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you, because I believe that eyes have not seen, nor ears have heard the things that He is going to do in this organization.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll be right back with the executive director. Stay with us.
Olivia looks for ways to help her community after being inspired by one of the greatest women of her time. Take a journey with Olivia and her cousins as they explore the life of one of the Divine Nine, Dr. Glenda Baskin Glover, in Katina Rankin's new book, Born to Lead, available August 8th on Amazon.com. And while you're there, don't forget to check out the other books in the Katina's Classroom collection, available now.
Well, Dr. Shanks joins us again. And again, thank you. But we couldn't let you go without telling women, children, possibly men, anybody who's in need of services with S.A.F.E. how to get in touch with you.
They can get in touch with us with our 1-800 numbers, 1-800-527-SAFE.
And one more time for me.
1-800-527-SAFE.
And is that also the number where people can call if they want to donate, or where can they go if they want to donate?
Well, if they want to donate, they can call our main office. And that main office is 662-841-9105.
One more time.
It's 662-841-9105.
Let's continue to make our community safe for everyone. From Tupelo, I'm Katina Rankin with the special edition of Coach's Corner Live.